Hey guys, my name is Shubham Kejriwal, and in this video I'll be talking to you about the things I don't exactly like about Shiv Nadar University. As you guys know, I have been a student at SNU for the last 4 years. I've been studying Bachelor of Science in Physics there, and I have absolutely loved the institute, of course. As you can maybe go back and take a look at any of my videos, I have talked really nicely about the place, but I have failed, I think, to highlight some of the downcomings of the place along the way. What this has done is created a very great perception of Shiv Nadar University, and although the university is still very good, we'll talk about that in the conclusion section. I think that the perception I've made is a little too skewed towards making the university a really good one. Now obviously some people might take this video in the wrong sense, and for them I'd say, as I mentioned, just go back, take a look at the videos I've previously made. I absolutely love the place. Just like I talked about facts in those videos, I'm talking about facts in this video, at least in my experience, and something that you might face and should be ready for. So the first thing I don't exactly like about SNU is its rapid expansion. SNU has been a place which to me was a small but tightly knitted space in which you got to experience a lot of diversity but not a lot of people. At least that's what I thought SNU was when I first came to campus. However, over time SNU has evolved a lot, and recently when I went back to SNU in March of 2022, I just couldn't recognize the place. The buildings were same, but no similar faces. And I don't have problem with people being on campus. I have problem with their capacity to not being able to take so many students at the same time. It has made all the hotspots on campus really crowded. If you go to the indoor sports complex or if you go to the C&D atriums, all of these places are almost always packed. Another very good example of this, by the way, is the dining hall. Used to be a almost flawless system when I first entered the university, but now there are huge lines first to make an order and then to actually get the order, and by the time you reach your table, your food is generally not very hot. But I think SNU recognizes these challenges because there are new hostel blocks coming up which will be able to accommodate a whole bunch of more students on campus, and there are more kiosks coming up just as the C&D atrium. So while right now there might be a crunch for another semester or two, I think this problem might hopefully get solved in the long run. Finally, but I think most importantly, I want to talk about the focus of the institute and how I think it has shifted quite a bit and not to the right direction. I had 85% tuition fee waiver in the year I entered SNU and 100% scholarship every time after that. I basically did 4 years at this institute at the cost of barely one. Now the opportunities for getting scholarships are more towards someone who has excelled in sports or someone who has excelled in JEE or NEET, rather than someone who shows caliber and going forward someone who could probably do better. I mean, if I were judged on the basis of how I did in an Olympiad or in JEE, I would probably not be at SNU because I wouldn't be able to afford it. But the fact that I knew that going forward there is a chance that I will score better and based on that I'll get a better scholarship, that really motivated me to apply to the institute and played out well for me. Another slightly funny example is of that rapid expansion I talked about before. There are new hostel blocks coming at the institute. There are horse stables coming up at the institute. There are student recreation centers coming up at the institute. A bunch of kiosks coming up. There's an open amphitheater coming up. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm really proud saying that. I really love the fact that SNU is expanding and building up infrastructure so quickly. However, if you go to D block and go into any one of those classrooms with the whiteboard, those are literally the worst whiteboards you'll ever see. This whiteboard I bought for probably 150 rupees, and it's been about 2-3 years that it's been here. It has no problem rubbing off anything that I put on it, even after like say 1 month. Okay. But as at SNU, what I have noticed is that there are whiteboards. I don't know if that's the problem with the whiteboard or with the marker, that if the faculty tries to write on it and tries to remove it the next day, he or she just can't do it. And overall, it just makes you question. There's a whiteboard that can easily be fixed either by changing that whiteboard itself or by changing those markers. But rather, the university is building all that infrastructure around these academic blocks, which was at some point the focus but has now somewhere vanished in the background. As you can see, there's obviously nothing fundamentally wrong with the institute. There are certain things that the admin can be a little bit careful about, or that you as a student body can be more adamant about, which can just make things work out in the future, or otherwise in the long term just can be fixed by small changes here and there. Mostly, I still think SNU is one of the best institutes, at least in the private sectors in India. And until you are getting into something like BITS Pilani, I'd highly recommend this institute for at least STEM courses. As I said in the beginning, I have had the best 4 years of my life probably at SNU. It has really taught me quite a bit, and I really enjoyed the company of all the people that I got in touch with at SNU. To all the people who are joining SNU and who are watching this video thinking whether I should change my decision of joining this place or not, I'd recommend you don't do that. Why? Although there are these bunch of things that I don't exactly like about SNU and which you might also experience going into the future, you should know that all of these sort of things are expected at places which do not treat you like a child. If you go to a place like Amity, or even honestly some government institutes like ICERs, you're expected to go by the very stringent rules that are presented there. SNU gives you a lot of freedom, please remember that. But at the same time, with that freedom, you have to deal with a bit of a technical snag here and there, and have to know how to deal with. That's basically how you grow. And I think that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I truly hope this video isn't taken in the wrong sense. Otherwise I'm screwed. But yeah, that's been it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.